We should be
All
live.
right. Hello and welcome to Hump the Hangout episode 415. Super happy to be here today. It's a public holiday in Austria, so everybody else was out celebrating. And all I got to do was hit the gym quickly and sauna session. Other than that, I enjoyed my lovely work at home. Always motivates me. And we were working on a couple really cool things for all our semantic mastery mastermind members and also our local Fury customers. So quite exciting things happening there. We will have a special on Monday, so everyone is in local Fury. We'll enjoy the fruits on that one. And I'm actually super excited because it's gonna help a lot of people with their Google business profiles and push them to the top. So really super here. Bradley is also here today. How are you doing today?
Good, man. I'm happy to be here. And as you just said, yeah, we've got a training webinar on Monday. For it's about Local Fury and the process. It's not a sales webinar. It's about the process that we go through now that we have an onboarding process. In other words, we are now, what we found from launching Local Fury is that there's a lot of people that don't know, and you can't know what you don't know. So it's not nobody's fault, but a lot of people have really poor expectations or unreal expectations on how to do this properly, or they think it's a magic bullet and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is there's a process that we go through that is for a longer term strategy. And it requires some analysis of what the current health or status is of the project, the local entity. And that's precisely what we focus on, is establishing the local entity, filling any gaps, helping to disambiguate the entity if that's an issue, which is oftentimes an issue. So there's a lot of things that we do that requires a lot of front end work on our end, which requires doing reports and analysis of the local entity itself, and then working on that to help correct entity issues up front. That's the first and most important thing. Once you establish an entity, guys, the rest of the SEO becomes much easier. And so that's what we focus on first. And really the first month is about that, unless it's already a really well-established entity, in which case we can go full in right on, just hammering away at some of the other signals. But there's a method to our process. And so that's why we've started incorporating what I call an onboarding fee, because we have to generate all these reports up front, analyze everything, and then jump on a call with me so that we can, I can go review all the reports, all the data that my team has generated, and then develop a plan specific to your projects and set expectations and everything else. And that's really the whole point of that. So the problem comes in, and I didn't mean to take over, Chris. Sorry, man.
Oh, good, man.
The problem is we just implemented that. We did a promotion with Peter Drew last week, and we implemented a setup fee, it's not really a setup fee. It's onboarding and consultation fee is really what it is. And we've got a lot of existing members in Local Fury that didn't get that treatment. And so it's not fair to them, but it's also not fair to say, oh, well, I want an onboarding call and consultation with Bradley, but I'm not going to pay the setup fee because I got in before. So our answer to that is I'm going to do a training webinar on Monday for Local Fury on how to analyze a local entity and what to look for and what signal, what you should do to strengthen the local entity. And again, that's step number one before all the other kind of SEO work. I'm not saying you can't do those in tandem, like simultaneously, but the most important thing is the entity. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a full training webinar on Monday about the process that we go through for analyzing all of this, which is precisely what we're going to do on a one-to-one consultation call for new members that are coming in. But for existing members and for everyone else in our audience, it's just going to be damn good training, because you guys should know this stuff anyways, is my point. So we're going to invite everybody. Originally, we were just going to invite current and past Local Fury customers, but I thought, you know what, this is going to be good training for everybody. Again, it's not a sales webinar, guys. It is purely a training webinar, but we're going to go through the process that I'm going to be doing on one-on-one consultation calls with new members I'm going to go through that process in a more generalized manner for everybody else. And again, these are valuable training that you guys will be able to start identifying potential issues with projects that you're working on. And so you'll have some insight on how to solve those issues by the end of the webinar on Monday. So I encourage you guys to just pay attention to your emails. We're going to have some registration emails going out over the next couple of days. That's going to be Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And everybody's invited. It's public. It'll be a public webinar. So sorry, back to you, Chris.
Can't wait, man. All good. Yeah, Adam is still in Chiang Mai. So if you're in Thailand or Chiang Mai, like I highly recommend you hit him up or just post in the Facebook group. So like I know there are a ton of like SEO folks out there. So like happy to have a chat or like meet Adam in person if he's up for it. Other than that, do we have any other announcements today?
Not that I know of. I think we can get into it.
Like on those ends. Yeah, like and on the local Fury ends, like if you're interested in the training, make sure you're subscribed to our email list. If not, scroll down on the Hump the Hangouts page, you can subscribe there. So you're actually getting the notification and the updates on all our news and trainings and stuff. And you're up to date. So
yeah,
like,
make sure you guys subscribe to the channel too. That's something that we just started a program called Channel Jumpstart by Daryl Eves. Very expensive program, but we're going to start stepping our YouTube game up here quite a bit over the next several months. Like that's going to be one of our primary focuses, is really stepping up our YouTube game. So I'm really looking forward to that. That Channel Jumpstart just started last on Friday, was like the kickoff call or ignition call or whatever they call it. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's something I'm going to spend at least 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday, on just kind of going through the training and trying to implement and learn and everything else. So I'm really excited about that. So one thing, definitely recommend you guys subscribe to the channel. We're going to be pumping out some more content and some better. I mean, when I say better, I just mean presented better. I think the content's always been good. It's just our delivery of it. It maybe not isn't quite as engaging as it could be, but we're going to improve that. So also very quickly, we had somebody submit a support ticket to our support desk after last week's Hump Day Hangout, and they were pissed off that we didn't answer their question in YouTube in the YouTube live chat comments. Well, next week, a week from today, is our 8-year anniversary. So 416 episodes. Today's 415. For 8 years, we have done Hump Day Hangouts with a Hump Day Hangout page with a chat widget. That's where we answer questions, is on the chat page. So we weren't trying to ignore anybody. We just don't monitor the chat in YouTube because we have done it for 8 years on a Hump Day Hangout page. So to the person that contacted support and said you would never attend another Hump Day Hangout, well, you're probably not here anyways if you held to your word, but we were not ignoring you. And the fact that you took the time out of your day to send in a support ticket to say that you were pissed off that we ignored your question just goes to show that you don't really, you should probably be focusing on more important issues. But we were not trying to ignore you, period. Like, we have a Hump Day Hangouts page, and it has been that way for 8 years. So with that said, I just happened to be looking at the YouTube channel page and I saw Monica posted a question. So we generally don't monitor this, guys, but I happen to have it open because in the process of going live, it flips into the YouTube screen. So Monica, I see your question. It says a GBP, and I'm going to answer hers, and then I'm closing that YouTube page down because we have the Hump Day Hangout page. And that's why I put the link in that chat, guys. That's where the questions should go. Again, to the person that contacted us last week, we were not trying to ignore you or anybody else in the YouTube chat. It just so happens that we have done it for 8 years on the Hump Day Hangout page. That's where we prefer for people to post their questions. So I just want everybody to know we're not ignoring anybody. It's not that anybody's question wasn't as important as somebody else's. We just didn't see it. Okay. But that said, Monica, I see your question. So no, I know it wasn't you, Monica. It wasn't you. So anyway, she says a GBP I was working on over the last 2 days got suspended. It seems to be happening a lot lately. Anyone else dealing with this? Suspended after finishing the info tab tasks in the GBP optimization process. Yeah, and Monica, I'm going to grab the screen here and show you This is a known issue. In the month of October, Google has been on a suspension rampage, and Google has even admitted to there being a bug in their platform that was causing instant suspensions for even like very small or minor changes that should not ever trigger a suspension. And Bright Local, which they've got a Bright Local. I've been using Bright Local for years. They just published a blog post a couple of days ago about that. So I'm going to grab the screen and I'm going to actually show that blog post for a minute. But that is, this is a known issue right now with Google suspending Google business profiles. So Monica, it's nothing that you did wrong. In fact, a lot of people have been taken out in the last month, like even with real valid businesses, non-spammy GBPs or Google business profiles, all of that. They're just a lot of people are getting and it's funny in fact, let me just grab the screen and I'll just kind of jump right into it. I think we're done with announcements anyways.
Yep.
And Monica, I will post this in here, guy, for you. Like I said, Monica, you're getting good treatment today just because I was mad about somebody else complaining about us not answering questions. And by the way, don't let this fool you guys. It does not mean we're going to start monitoring the YouTube chat, because that's not, at least not yet. Maybe we will as I go through Channel Jumpstart. Maybe that's the better place to do it. But until then, for 8 years, we've done it this way. And this is how we're going to continue doing it until I have a reason to do it otherwise. Okay. But Monica, I just posted the link in YouTube chat for you, but this is it. Google business profile suspensions. It says the bug fix is confirmed. I don't trust it, to be honest with you. But anyways, it said, looks like right here, but for a few weeks in October, it seemed that all it took to get suspended was looking at your Google business profile the wrong way. And the current response time for profile reinstatement is nearly a month. So anyway, I just posted that. I'll post this on the Hump Day Hangouts page too, as well, guys, in case anybody wants to read this article. It's on the Bright Local blog. But that is, this is definitely a known issue, Monica. It's likely not anything that you did. It's just a bug in Google's system. So I'm sorry
as
that
long
that
as
happened.
people are back before Black Friday, people should be fine.
Yeah, it's pretty bad actually. Because we're always at Google's mercy, guys, because Google's a private company, or it's a public company, but it's it's their platform, so they can do whatever the hell they want, and they can make or break a business just just at on a whim. They can make or break businesses, right? And so it's unfortunate that they have so much power, but it is what it is. And it sucks, because I know doing just something like adding more detail to a profile, a Google business profile, not doing anything spammy, just adding more relevant information can cause it to be suspended. And that sucks, because what do? There's nothing you can do about that, and it's not your fault. It's Google's, and you think they give a shit? They really don't.
Yeah, Google tax is coming.
It sucks. Anyway, enough complaining about that. It's funny, because I know a lot of SEOs have complained about, they're always fighting Google and everything else. And for a long time, I didn't really agree with that, because I always felt like Google was more like a business partner for me, because I built an entire business off of Google. You know what I mean? So I never really looked at it as the enemy. I always looked at it like, of course, we try to, manipulate things and do things that are against terms of service and all of that. But I always kind of looked at it like almost like a partnership, as opposed to like me trying to play cat and mouse games with Google, although that's what we do. I get it. But I don't know. It just seems like some of the stuff that has been going on in the past couple of years has really kind of soured my opinion. I still make a good living from Google, there's for sure. But I feel like there's they've got a bit too much power, and they can make or break businesses on a whim. And I just don't think that's appropriate, to be honest with you. But anyway, Fancy Legends up first. He says, do you know of any good vendors for blog content we can use to keep our clients' sites updated? I mean, hiring somebody in-house is your best bet, and training, hiring somebody, it doesn't have to be like an actual, W-2 employee or whatever. It could be an outsourcer, a virtual assistant. But I would recommend investing in a good tool that produces content and then hiring somebody and having, like, even if you hire them and for the first month, you just pay them just to learn how to use the tool. I'm serious. Or pick up a tool that you like, a good writing tool. I'm telling you, my favorite tool right now, and I did a post about this in the mastermind just earlier today. By far, hands down, my favorite tool right now is On-Page AI. And this is not an affiliate. He didn't even have an affiliate program. Trust me, I've looked. He doesn't have an affiliate program for this, but this is my favorite tool for SEO right now. It's fabulous. It does outline building. It has AI writing assistant built into it. It has the reason why I fell in love with this tool had nothing to do with the on-page factors, even though it's called on-page, because I've been using a lot of other on-page tools, Outranking, Surfer, inlinks.net, you know, a bunch of different tools that I use for on-page optimization and for content. But I fell in love with this tool because of its backlink analysis properties, the link relevancy tool and what they call predictive guest posts. But since I bought this tool or subscribed to this tool when he first launched it, he's added a bunch of new features to it, and the AI writing assistant is really, really good in this now. And so anyways, it's expensive. It's definitely an expensive tool, but this is a really good tool. And Eric Lanchera is the developer. Where the hell is his picture? He was on here somewhere. There he is. I've been following him since like 2012 or 13, somewhere around that time frame, long time. I really respect Eric. He's been kind of a mentor of mine for many years. And so I really, really like this tool. This has become my favorite SEO tool in the last couple of months. So I would encourage you, fancy legend, I would encourage you to find a tool like that. It doesn't have to be that one, but just find. The important thing is, like, for another one, Jasper. I use Jasper. Like, I got Jasper open right there, and I use Jasper all the time. My link building team uses Jasper a lot too. It's great. It's a great tool. The only thing is Jasper doesn't. The important, and I've talked about this a lot recently because, like, this question comes up a lot about content and things like that. But Jasper is a really good tool if you can guide it appropriately. And that's the trick with Jasper is you have to kind of set guardrails to confine it within specific parameters, or else the GPT-3 will go off on a tangent and spit out all kinds of like non-relevant shit. And like, it's great if you know how to use it. Okay. So the trick with Jasper is to develop a really have a really well-developed outline, a really clearly defined outline with a hierarchy in place, like H2s, H3s. You know, H2s are big main sections within content. H3s are supporting subheadings of the H2s, for example. So just kind of developing out an outline first, and then pasting that outline into Jasper, and then using that. You still kind of have to use the asterisk to kind of like tell it. This is not a tutorial on Jasper, guys, so I don't want to get too far into the weeds. But all I'm saying is if you have a really well-developed outline and you constantly update the commands to Jasper, you can get really good. Like, my link building team is very, very proficient with Jasper. We use it a lot. But me personally, when I have to develop content, you know, I like to use either outranking.io, or more recently, I've started using this a lot more. Again, originally for months, all I used this for was this link relevancy tool and what's called predictive guest posts, because it integrates with Google's NLP API, so the natural language processor API. And it tells you can scan content or backlink profiles, and it will tell you what the Google's NLP categories are that it has determined. So if we open this image in a new tab, these are Google's NLP categories. Like, this is, these are the categories that Google NLP has determined are present on this page, for example. Does that make sense? And so I've been able to learn how to tune content to be 100% relevant in the same topical category that Google's NLP has determined, which, by the way, are very, very closely aligned to Majestic's topical trust flow categories. They're not the same. There are some nuanced differences, right? Some slight differences between topical trust flow categories and Majestic and Google's NLP categories, but they're very, very close, very similar. So that's why, again, part of the reason why I have abandoned all other SEO analysis or backlink analysis tools, and all I use is Majestic now for that, because again, it's all about topical relevance And topical trust flow is very closely aligned with Google's NLP categories. So that's what I base all of my research and all of my methods on now. Okay. And all of that, I owe Eric credit for that, because if it wouldn't have been for him launching this tool, I probably eventually would have discovered it, but this was really what seeded the idea for semantic links, was this tool right here, because of this, the link relevancy tool, and because of predictive guest posts. So I built an entire business based off of the teaching of Eric from this tool, from him launching this tool. No kidding. So I love this tool. I think it's a great tool. And I would encourage you to find something like this, whether it's this one or another one. Like I said before, another really good tool that is very, very powerful for developing well-tuned SEO content is outranking.io. Again, very expensive. The good tools are expensive, guys. I know you can go to AppSumo and get a bunch of deals, and sometimes they work out. It seems like every week, multiple new apps are coming out that do AI writing. The problem is a lot of those haven't been developed far enough to where it's still going to require a lot of work on your end, and there can be bugs, and sometimes those platforms go under. Don't get me wrong. It's not, I invest in AppSumo deals all the time. I've got AppSumo open up in my browser right now. I just spent another $600 on AppSumo last night. No kidding. So I spend a ton of money on AppSumo. Don't get me wrong. But when you're talking about the question that was posted here about content vendors for your own agency, I think the best way to do it is to hire a VA and train them how to use a tool. Just pick one. And one of the tools that are more further developed, like Outranking or like OnPage, they have comparable pricing. They're both expensive, but they're such good tools. You can do all of your content needs in one of these two tools. Again, there's other ones out there, guys. I'm just pointing out the two that are my favorite. Okay. And then I've talked about WriterZen too. WriterZen is really good for outlines and topic research and keyword research. My favorite keyword tool is part of WriterZen. So this has got a really good topic and keyword research, and then it also can do outlines. My point is just pick one that is more further developed. If you want an all-in-one tool, again, OnPage AI or Outranking would be my two preferred tools, the ones that I would recommend the most. Okay. And then learn it yourself or hire somebody and make that their full-time job for the first 2 weeks or the first whatever, is just like go through training and learn, have them develop, publish. I know that, you have to invest, but if you invest a little bit up front by paying subscribing to a tool like this, that's very powerful, that has everything that you're going to need in one dashboard, and then training somebody, even if you got to pay them for 2 weeks, to do nothing other than to learn how to use the tool, where they don't produce any monetizable content for you for at least, the first 2 weeks. I know that's an investment, but it will pay off, because now you'll have somebody in-house that can produce content for a lot cheaper than hiring content from content farms that also is likely not going to be optimized as well as you want it to anyways. And you end up having to spend time editing the content that you receive from those services anyways. Or you go to a higher end content service and you pay out of the nose, you pay through the nose, you pay a lot of money for that content. I know, because we have we were going to launch a separate content business, but now we're actually pulling that under we were going to launch a done for you content service called Content Kings, which is a higher end content service. But we decided to cancel that as a standalone service and roll that into Semantic SEO, which is our full service white label SEO agency that we're launching next week. So anyway, when I say launching, we're going to be accepting new clients, new subscribers, but we're not actually doing a push on that, at least not yet. But anyways, that's why I'm saying, like, again, I would just encourage you, if you're doing a client work and stuff like that, guys, there's nothing better, in my opinion, more cost effective and can be generate the highest revenue potential for you than to bring somebody in-house and teach them how to use one of these tools, or even if you don't teach them, pay them to learn how to use one of these tools. And now you've got somebody in-house that can produce content on any kind of topic or subject matter, because these types of tools, like these two right here, can help you develop content even on stuff that you're not a subject matter expert on. And that's my recommendation. It's a little bit more of an investment up front, but in the long term, you will be more profitable. You'll have better quality, if that makes sense. Anyways, that was a good question. Next one. Do you think it's still worth building out a Web2 network with something like rankerx or Money Robot with topically relevant content for our link building? No, I don't. I honestly don't. Maybe if you're going to do it for like tier 3 stuff. Otherwise, like there's just so much of that stuff is just ignored now by Google. Like, you know, because of AI writing tools, guys, and the proliferation of content, specifically because of AI writing tools in the last year or two. You know, you guys have probably all heard about indexing issues. A lot of that has to do with crawl budget, like in server resources, even on, you know, Google with the most powerful, richest company in the world, or one of them, you know, has got growing pains because of the sheer volume of pages that are being published because of things like AI writing assistants. And so you got to think like a lot of these Web2 spam networks and stuff like that, guys, they're just being ignored. They're not getting, we know that they're not indexing well, but a lot of the times content doesn't need to be indexed for links from that content to provide value. It's getting the link crawled is important. Whether it indexes or not, that's debatable about, you know, certainly index content, especially ranking content that's indexed and ranking well. Links from that kind of content is generally going to be a stronger link, but links, as long as they're crawled, Google's aware of the link, whether it's indexed or not. But the point that I'm trying to make is like a lot of these Web2 network stuff, like Google's just ignoring it now. It's not indexing. It might crawl it, but is that link of any value if it's on this Web2 network that, you know, Google knows is spammed to death and has been for years? I mean, I personally don't use any kind of bulk spam for anything anymore. Personally, no, I would say no, it's not worth it. If you're going to do it, then the only time I would want to use it is out at like tier 3 or for like YouTube embeds and things like that. That's fine. But for linking to your money site or any of your entity assets, I would not encourage you to use that stuff anywhere near, at least not anywhere at tier 1 or tier 2. So tier 3, maybe. But in my opinion, spend your time and energy elsewhere where it's going to have a greater, longer lasting effect. That's my opinion, guys. I know there's what do they say? 1,000 ways to skin a cat. My methods are not the only ways. I'm just giving you my opinion. Okay. I don't like to use bulk spam for anything anymore. Except for when I'm telling you how to bulk spam a blogger blog or a patch.com classified announcement post like I did last week. In that case, I mean, there are some certain times where spam is appropriate, but if that's purely a ranking thing, not, it hasn't, like, I don't recommend spamming anything like any of your branded assets at all or any of that. But I know there's differing opinions out there. So you have to decide on which methodology you want to follow. Next one. Hey guys, I had a client for a while, and built out a drive stack with tons of tiered links. So it has become pretty powerful over time. Now the client wants to rebrand and move on to another website and drop the old one completely along with all the old profiles, etc. I advise them to keep it, but they still don't want them. Is there anything I can do? I hate to see a heap of great assets with linkjuice go to waste. Yeah, I've had that happen in the past too. What you could do is embed their site onto the G site, like their new site. If it's the same kind of like business, like if they're just rebranding, but if they're offering the same products and services, you could potentially just embed their site or some of their branded tier 1 assets into the site, to the G site, so that it kind of, what do you call it? It absorbs or inherits some of that link juice and you know, that you've built to the previous stack. You got to be careful. I said branded assets, but maybe non-branded assets. So maybe tier 2 profiles, not tier 1 branded assets, because if you mix branded assets or the money site in with something that had been a previously strong brand, then you can ambiguate the new brand, right? You can cause that to have problems with establishing the entity and everything else, because you're sending mixed signals at that point. If you've got an established brand, that a former brand, because they want to abandon that, but that has a lot of, you know, it had been validated and had built some authority to it. And then you start to embed a new brand into it, whether it's the money site or branded entity assets, that could cause some potential issues. So perhaps in that case, I would say maybe tier 2 stuff. right? Because then tier 2 stuff will inherit or absorb, siphon some of the authority from that G site and stack, but it will kind of, so the tier 2 profiles or link sources will inherit some of that authority, and then through the link in the tier 2 sources will push that to tier 2 should be linking to branded tier 1 assets. At least that's how I do most of my link building. And that would be kind of a way to push some of that authority and link equity through to your branded assets without ambiguating the entity, the new entity, if that makes sense. So that's potentially a way that you could do it, right? So here's an example. Here's something that you could do. And I just actually taught about this in, I guest presented with Essie, our trainer in Syndication Academy, a couple of weeks ago for the webinar, the update webinar. And I talked about an ID page strategy, which we also covered in the mastermind. But if you take like the G sheet from the Google stack and you take all of your, so for, what I'm saying is the Google stack for the brand that your client decided to abandon should have a G sheet as part of the drive stack, right? It should be embedded into the G site and everything else. Well, what if you take a bunch of tier 2 links that you're building to the new brand? So you build out your tier 0 assets, the money site, Google business assets, which is Google business profile or Google business website, excuse me, Google map. You take those, then you build out your branded tier 1 assets, interlink where possible, right? So that you're helping to Google make the association that it's the brand on all these different platforms. Then build some tier 2 links with whatever sources that you use for links to your tier 1 assets. Then take those tier 2 link sources, the source URLs, and put them into the G sheet from your original drive stack, the one that is being abandoned, right? Then you also, you hyperlink the URLs to keywords. And I taught about this in Syndication Academy just 2 weeks ago with Essie. So it's available in there. It's also available in the mastermind. But you just basically turn all of those links into keyword anchor text links in the G sheet, right? And that's all you need to do. And then from there, like, again, that all of those links that are now tier 2 links that are pointing to branded tier 1 assets for the new brand are going to siphon some of that authority from that G site. And that's a quick and easy way to do it. So that's what I would do. If it's the same, like I've had old G sites and then switched to the new ones, but I didn't convert the old one to a new one. I just had a new one built because I had an old like classic G site though, that I built a bunch of links to and all that other kind of stuff. I've taken the new G site because it was the same brand. It was just, so it's a slight difference, but I would take the new G site and embed that into the old G site, or excuse me, link to it anyways. So that because you can't embed the new G sites, but link to it anyway, so that it would push kind of power from the old G site into the new one. So, and yeah, anyway, that's, I was just about to say something else that wouldn't be appropriate to reveal on a Hump Day Hangout. So I decided against it. Next question. Hey, let's see. Hey guys, my SEO agency has started to slow down with clients taking way longer to close deals with. Thinking to diversify by doing some white label services and potentially something on Legiit. What's something simple I could offer that other agencies would be interested in, even a specific link building type? Well, topically relevant links. There's not too many providers out there that do that properly. I'm one of them. So I'm not trying to make you be a competitor, but honestly, this is a big damn space, man. There's a lot of money slopping around out there, man. It's a big blue ocean. So I've always been of the abundance mindset, not the scarcity mindset. There's plenty of room in the SEO world for more link builders too. Okay. And topically relevant links, guys, that's what's working. And there's very few link providers out there that sell topically relevant links. Most everybody sells on BS third-party metrics that mean nothing anymore, in my opinion. If you can get topically relevant links with high third-party or traditional metrics, then yeah, bonus. Let's get those all day long. But I really don't care about the third-party traditional metrics anymore at all, because I've seen for the last year how those links, you know, if you base your link building activities purely on those metrics, they're just not going to work for you. You're going to piss away a lot of money. So that's one thing. Also, you know, doing different types of build outs like drive stacks and G sites and things like that. There's always room in this the industry for that. There's a lot of providers out there. I know because I've tested several of them in the recent months that are selling like G sites and drive stacks that are just garbage. They're junk. You know, the Heavy Hitter Club, former partners of ours, they've got by far the best G site and drive stacks available that you can purchase, but it takes forever to deliver them. It takes a while, like 5 or 6 weeks. And I know a lot of people don't want to wait that long. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They're the best out there, but it takes a long time to get them back. And a lot of people don't want to wait for that. I've tried a lot of other providers that can produce them in 2 weeks. But a lot of them are junk. They're just total junk. I've used one provider now on Legiit. His name is Cal. His username on Legiit is iWeb SEO. I use him for G sites and drive stacks. They're simplified G sites and drive stacks. They're one-page G sites. The drive stacks built to the first page and all in the homepage. And the reason I use that is because I do content mirroring, which is like theme mirroring. We mirror site structure and all that. And I've talked about this before, but anyways, I do mirroring on the G sites anyway. So I don't need a multi-page G site. But I know that there's a big gap in the marketplace for people that know how to produce those well. So that might be another option. Content. I just talked about content, guys. There's if you know how to use a tool like this or Outranking, you can produce really super optimized content and charge good prices for it. One of a service that I've talked about a lot over the years and I've used a lot is called rankerx. They have the best citation cleanup service on the market. They're a white label SEO agency. They deal with higher end and like big companies, big brands, and higher end SEO agencies. Again, they're a white label SEO provider, but they deal with higher end stuff. And you should see what they charge for content. And they're a thriving business. So like that's actually what inspired us at Semantic Mastery to decide to launch our own content business, which again, now we're abandoning that and rolling content into a white label SEO agency services that we're calling Semantic SEO. Again, that'll be available next week. I'm not going to do a big push on that, but my point that I'm trying to make here is content is another good service. Link building and content, both are really good services to get into if you want to offer. Develop a process that works, and then you can outsource that and use tools like these, right? Again, I just talked about using tools like these, hire somebody, train them how to do it. And this could be some stuff that you do to produce additional revenue for your agency. I never planned on doing white labels SEO services. I just happened to start Semantic Links because I saw that there was a huge gap in the marketplace for some topically relevant links. And so I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I'm glad I did. It's turned out to be a fantastic business. It's generated a lot of revenue for me. It actually sparked the whole concept of Semantic SEO, which is what we're launching, which is a more full service agency. I just see there's a lot of opportunity in white label SEO services. So I'm glad that I got into that is what I'm saying. And I think that's a wise decision. If you're an agency that's slowing down on getting clients, why not? If you have some processes in place and stuff that works, why not offer that out? There's a lot of people out there that there's a lot of companies out there that can't fulfill to save their life. But they can sell. So why not fulfill for them and let them do the sales, right? I think it's a good strategy. Okay, next. What's some relatively quick things we can do to make some money using SEO with a 3 to 5 year old website with decent link profile authority? Is it getting traffic? Because if so, put some sort of offer on it, build a list, collect leads. If it's getting a lot of traffic, you could put ads on it, right? So that you're getting ad revenue from people that are clicking on it. Yeah, I mean, that's about all I could say is if it's getting traffic, you could monetize it with ads, list building. So you could have an opt-in, relevant offers, CPA offers, things like that. Affiliate offers.
Another SEO.
Yeah. If it's a site that's got traffic and good metrics, as you're mentioning, why not sell links, sell posts, right? Again, if you've got good metrics, it's got good topical authority, clean metrics and all that kind of, and I say metrics because I don't give a shit about that. But unfortunately in our industry, most people still base the quality of a link based on ahrefs metrics or Moz metrics. I mean, God love them. I love those people because they're not really my competitors. But you know, if you can sell, why not sell links is my point. You can sell them based on metrics like everyone else does. But I don't think that's ethical. If you know the truth, if you know that third-party metrics really don't mean anything, then, you know, how can you sleep at night if you sell links based on that? That's my point. That's why I don't sell links based on those metrics. I sell links based on topical relevance, period. If they have those other metrics, fantastic. That's a bonus. But I sell them on, it's funny because I've been selling links on Vetted, and occasionally somebody will buy links from me on Vetted, and then I deliver the links, and then I get a message in chat like, hey, I checked these in ahrefs and it's got a DR of 6. Like, I thought these would be better quality. And I say, it says right on my gig page, I don't give a damn about ahrefs metrics or Moz metrics. You think Google does either? I base mine purely on topical relevance, and I make that very, very clear in the gig description. And that's what I respond with in Vetted. Like, hey, it's very clear in the gig description. I don't even track those metrics. So that's why I'm saying, like, I think, you know, again, I'm not trying to encourage you guys to become competitors of mine, but there's room in this industry for people that know how to sell links based on topical relevance. And there's a lot of people out there selling links on traditional metrics that mean nothing, in my opinion. And I've got testing that just proves that over and over again. I guess once you pass a certain threshold with these traditional metrics, then it's going to be a powerful link, whether it's super topically relevant or not, but it's hard to get those. So it's much easier to get links with lower metrics that aren't topically relevant, and they're not really producing an effect. You're wasting your money, is my point. And again, all of that was described to me from this, right? I think I pointed these out before, but these are topically relevant, but you know, it's all about relevance match at 2 different levels, the page level and the domain level. What are the topical categories of the target asset? What are you like? What is the topical categories of the page? And then the links that are pointing to that page, what are the topical categories of the referring page and then the referring domain? And if there's not a match all the way across, it doesn't have to be 100% match all the way across, but if there's not a match all the way across, the value of that link has been diminished. It doesn't mean it's entirely worthless, but the link value has been diminished algorithmically by Google via NLP API. Like, it scans it, it's built into the algorithm now. And if there's not a topical relevance match or related category match at both the referring page and referring domain level, then the link has been devalued. Again, maybe not entirely, but strength of the full value of that link has been diminished. So that's why I said it's funny that there's a lot of SEOs out there still selling links based on third-party metrics that aren't relevant. At least almost always at the page level they are, but at the domain level, it's very rare that you get domain level relevance match as well. So anyway, I'm very passionate about link building now, if you couldn't tell. Hey, SM, looking to offset some of the expenses of tools like SEMrush and ahrefs, and thought of offering a Fiverr gig to run reports for other people like backlinks, rankerx, etc., under a different name to my agency. There is a potential people may order wanting reports for sites as I have some well-ranking sites across a few industries. How would you deal with this? I'm not sure I understand the second part of the question, but yeah, I can tell you why. Yes, if you can run a valuable report, that's worth something. I give my reports away for free as part of my link building service. And that's kind of a lead magnet to get new clients in the door. However, I think I'm going to add that as a service on Vetted to do a competitive analysis backlink report, because I've been getting a lot of those questions from people recently. Like even, and I offer free backlink analysis reports, competitive analysis reports is what I call them. I offer those free to prospects that are in my pipeline, my sales pipeline, to become monthly link building clients. So subscribers. I don't do, well, I say I don't do, but on Vetted, which are one-off link purchases, I don't usually sell or offer competitive link analysis, because I have, I pay for that. I pay for the tools. I also pay for my team to generate the reports. So there's a hard cost involved. So when I'm using that to try to sell my monthly link building service, that's different. But when I'm on Vetted, which is a marketplace where people come and just purchase links, I don't typically do that, although I have run some competitive analysis reports by request for some people on that have approached me or contacted me on vetted. I will put that as I'll probably just charge $10, maybe $15 to do a competitive analysis report on vetted. That's a valuable service. The reason I started telling you that is because it's a valuable service. Yeah, if you've got tools like that and you can prepare a report in a presentable way that looks good too, visually appealing does matter, then that's something you could absolutely do, is sell reports. As again, I'm probably going to end up doing that on vetted, is like I said, either 10 or $15 to have a competitive analysis report generated. But it's a ton of data and it's really good insight too. So I think that's a good strategy, to offset some of your costs. Train a VA how to do that, to generate the reports, develop a process, an SOP for how you do it, have some templates. I use Excel. We use Excel. Everything we do is now in Excel, not Google Sheets, because we don't want to put people's link building activity directly in the belly of the beast, right? So we moved all of our everything in the Microsoft apps, my Office 365. And that's been a bit of a challenge too. But we do everything in Excel. I think I've showed this before. I'm just going to open up one just so you can see it. Just present something like this, and this would let me show you something, just a minute. Let's see, I'm trying to find it. I think this is the one I showed 2 weeks ago, or last week, excuse me. Last week I talked about some of this. Yeah, all right, cool. Here we go. So here's an example of a competitive analysis workbook that I generate, where we do backlink analysis for the top 5 ranked competitors, the target assets. We collate all this data. It comes up with anchor text ratio, average anchor text ratio for the top 5 ranked competitors. It shows the anchor text ratios for the 3 tier 0 assets or the target assets. So, this is basically a competitive analysis report, and that's based on this keyword down here. And this is an old report. It hasn't been updated in probably 3 months, but this is what I'm talking about. So these kind of reports are pretty valuable because it shows you what your competitors' links are and what the anchor text ratios are and that kind of stuff. So this is just an example of a kind of a report that you can generate for clients or for customers that want to purchase reports. As far as you said, you have a few sites that are ranking well across a few industries. How would you deal with that? Again, why not? I mean, if you're open to it, sell links, sell posts, right? Sell posts. If you've got in certain industries, you could sell links to other companies in that industry. Next question. Hey guys, working to help a client with their SEO. And since I started, they have gone from about 10 to 15 clicks to over 400 using SM methods. Hey, fantastic. That's a screenshot for a testimonial. Despite their growth and ranking jumps to #1 for a handful of strategic keywords and lots of small long tails, the impressions are way higher compared to clicks. Is that normal? Yes, that's normal. They are saying they have had a drop in leads, but their search traffic is still unchanged, even with the new algo change. Almost 100% of their traffic is organic search, so unrelated to social or PPC. Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that's more of a Google business thing because of the shrinking of the, proximity that Google business profiles will show. That might be it. When you're looking at Search Console, you're looking at organic search metrics, not maps, right? That's the maps metrics you're going to see in GMB or Google Business Insights, which is different. So, Google has twice in the last year shrunk or condensed the proximity in which a Google business profile will show, right? They've narrowed that twice in the last year. And that is a known issue that most of my clients, guys, are tree service clients. So they're service area businesses and they generally serve a large service area. Tree guys do. And across the board, we have seen Google business profiles go from 15 by 15 grids that were fully green to shrink down. And it's not because they're being penalized. It's just because it's just the way that local search is changing. It's evolving. Google has narrowed the proximity in which it will show Google business profiles. Twice in the last year, it's done that significantly. And there's really nothing you can do about it. You got to evolve with it, focus more on or on both organic and maps as well, and also start maybe incorporating some paid traffic. I mean, Google's been trying to push us all into paid traffic for forever since it became a search engine. That's where it makes its revenue, right? It's purely based on ads. And so, you know, I've started doing a lot. I've got Google ads open right there. I do, because I've been running a lot of Google ads lately. I've been working on developing a whole new Google ads training program for mastermind members. For the last 3 weeks, I've been working on that. So that's coming out in the mastermind in probably the next 2 weeks or so. Anyway, so when you're talking about Search Console data, you guys, you're looking at organic search, not maps. I wonder if their calls have shrunk because their maps coverage area may have, you know, been reduced. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you've got data to show that you're increasing their exposure, at least doing organic search, then, I mean, you're doing your job, right? So I don't know what else to tell you other than dig into the data a little bit and see, is it a maps thing that's causing? Is that why? Because they were getting most of their calls or leads from maps, which is, in my experience with local businesses, that's where, in the tree service industry, 70% of the leads that I've generated over the last 10 years have been from Google Maps. About 5% in ads, and the remaining, well, maybe 5 to 10% in ads, and the remaining 20% ish from organic search. So as the maps areas narrow, less leads, regardless of how good the SEO is, right? Next question. Hey guys, in the schema knowsabout, would it help to put our competitors' names or URLs or just Wikipedia pages of topics related to the core entity? I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I would be concerned. I guess you could, it might be worthy of testing, but what would you test that on? If you test it on something that's already doing well, like, I don't know. I wouldn't do it, just because I wouldn't want to be causing potential ambiguation, right? Mentioning other entities in our schema. I wouldn't want to do it. And by the way, guys, you don't have to just use Wikipedia. You want to use semantic databases, but you don't have to just use Wikipedia. Wikidata is another good one. Wikidata.org is a semantic database. Another one is dbpedia.org. So these are all other dbpedia. How come it's not showing up in my, anyways, that's it there. dbpedia.org. This is another semantic database. So you can use entities from these as well, as knowsabout, referencing named entities on some of these. You know, Wikipedia is not the only one, is what I'm trying to say. You can diversify a bit. You can also double up, right? You can do a Wikipedia page for an entity plus a Wikidata entry plus a dbpedia entry. You can do all three for the same entity. So you're referencing 3 different databases for those entities, if that makes sense. So there's probably others out there too. These are just, I use Wikipedia, Wikidata, and dbpedia the most. Next question. We're almost done too. Good. So what type of link building are you doing regularly to boost location and key service pages on the money site when you have 50 to 100? The same links that I build at Semantic Links. I do a combination of cloud pages, custom rebuilds, which are domains, expired domains with topical relevance that I register and then build single page HTML sites on, and now also niche relevant topic clustered PBN sites, which I build because again, that satisfies page level and domain level relevance, meaning when I build sites, what I call topic clustered sites or niche relevant sites, they're PBN or CMS content management system sites that all posts on the site are about one topic. And they're on domains that I've purchased that have topical trust flow in that topical category. So, and former content, at least even if it's not an exact match, at least in a related category. So I'm buying domains the same domains that I use for custom rebuilds, which are single page HTML sites. Why do I do single page HTML sites on expired domains that were in a particular topical category? Because a single page HTML site, when you get a link from a single page HTML site that was topically relevant, you are satisfying page level relevance and domain level relevance all at the same time, because the page is the domain. Does that make sense? That's why it works. So after about 5 months of doing nothing but those, I realized, well, wait a minute, if it works on single page HTML sites for the reasons I just mentioned, because the page is the domain and they're both relevant, 100% topical match, then why not build PBN sites, CMSs, WordPress, and other platforms that are every single post on the site, it's on an expired domain that has topical trust flow in the appropriate category anyway, but then put every single post on that site about that one topic, right? So now, therefore, if I publish posts on that site, which I can publish more than just one post, with the single page HTML pages, it's one page, it's one article. That's it. So it's a one and done domain. But with the PBN niche relevant or topic clustered PBN sites, we can now publish more posts on that, and it's going to satisfy page level relevance and domain level relevance at the same time from every post on the site. Does that make sense? So again, yeah, those are the types of links. Cloud pages too. And cloud pages I use because of traditional metrics, right? Cloud pages have high authority traditional metrics, but they have zero trust flow, zero citation flow, which means they have zero topical trust flow. So what I do is I build cloud pages, and then I don't do cloud stacks where I build a bunch of other cloud pages to that cloud page. I do one cloud page or several cloud pages, but then I do topically relevant links to power up those cloud pages. So I push topical relevance into those pages. That's what I call a cloud stack. So that's what I do. When you create new sites in the same industry, I know you talk a lot about tree service, but a different location, do you use the exact same content for every site and then just switch out locations, or do you write or have written totally new content? I always do new content, and I have been my entire career. I know there's a ton of people out there that all they do is they use the same, they'll duplicate clone sites and then just swap out location modifiers and brand mentions, and that's it. And it works. It still works. I've been saying for years, at some point, Google's going to kill all that, and all those sites out there that have been built with the exact same content, the only thing different is location modifier, that they're going to tank. However, I've been saying that for like 6 years, and it still works to this day. I'm still not going to do that. I'm still going to do unique content. I always have, I always will. Just because I don't like to build a bunch of stuff that tanks later. I don't like rework. I like building long-term assets. And although, like I said, I know a lot of people in the local space that have been doing exactly what you just mentioned, and it still works today. But at some point, I feel like that's going to get killed. And when it does, and maybe I've missed out all this time, I've spent more money and more time and effort than I needed to developing unique content every time. But I've always felt like that was a safer strategy. So that's the method I've gone with. If you're going to be just churning out a whole bunch of sites that you don't mind, you're going to win some and lose some, then yeah, why not? Why not do what you're mentioning here? But I try to spend my time and energy and money on developing assets that I hope to have long-term. And so I always take a little bit of extra time or spend a little bit of extra money to have new content or unique content written. And trust me, my primary blogger, Esther, she's reached out to me before and said, it is exhausting to have to write content about tree services over and over and over again, day in and day out. So I get it. It's not easy. It's not fun, but it's, in my opinion, it's a small price to pay for security, right? So Alfredo, is the white label reports up and running? Are you talking about white label reports for Alfredo for Local Fury? Sorry. Well, I don't know if the white label reports are up running yet, but the reporting we have the first version or iteration of reporting available. Chris, are you still on? Because I know you're kind of managing that. Chris must have stepped away. We've got the data reports now available, Alfredo, but we have the visual reports. That's the visual component of the reports is in progress. We just had our meeting with our developer today, and I told him, be careful what you tell me on these calls, because I'm going to announce it on Hump Day Hangouts. And he said that the visual reporting component should be ready by Friday or Monday, he said.
Basic white label reporting is on, but like the new improved version that, as Bradley is talking, that's like coming. Like I would expect it to have it on in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say don't hold us to Monday or Friday or Monday for that. I was making a joke.
It's software development, so there might be bugs initially and stuff. So like, as I said, 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. It's, he said last week on Wednesday, because we have our meetings on Wednesdays, and he said last Wednesday, I'm going to have the reporting by Monday, and he had the data reporting done by Monday. So and that's why today when he said, I'm working on the visual side of it. I'll have the visual reporting by Friday or Monday. I was like, be careful what you tell me, man. So yeah, Alfredo, but we've made a lot of development improvements, or our developer has made a lot of improvements in the last couple of weeks. And we've got a lot more coming. So we appreciate you and your patience, and for our current subscribers as well. All of you, thank you. As I mentioned, we're going to have a webinar on Monday where we're going to go into a lot of training. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to analyze entities, local entities, determine where their gaps are that need to be filled, how to fix issues, that kind of stuff, so that you can get better results, whether you use Local Fury or not. This will be valuable for all of you. I would encourage you to attend. Okay, it's not a sales webinar, it's a training webinar. Henry says, congrats guys on joining the YouTube program. Looking forward to learning more with you guys. Thank you, Henry. I'm excited about it. I think we have completely underutilized YouTube. We've not used it to its full potential. So we invested a lot of money in that program. It's very expensive, but I don't think there's anybody better to learn from than Daryl Eves. So I'm excited to go through that. Does using disallow and robots text help or hurt us? For example, for the base slug prefix folder, like go or recommends for affiliate links in our articles. Henry says, note, Outranking has an affiliate program. Yes, it does. And I probably should sign up for it. I know OnPage doesn't, because I looked for it, because I've been promoting OnPage for weeks now because it's such a good tool. But Outranking, yeah, I know it does. I don't know, Henry. I've not, because first of all, I don't do a lot of, I haven't done any affiliate work in years, to be honest with you, other than occasional promotion to Semantic Mastery List. I don't do affiliate SEO. So I don't know about that in particular. I think, Henry, what you might have been talking about, I know Eric Lancheres, I just posted about this in our mastermind. He's got a webinar tomorrow, actually at 2 p.m. Eastern, about OnPage and how he uses it to identify links to disavow. So I did a post about this in the mastermind specifically because there are differing, and I'll answer this question and we're going to wrap it up. There are differing opinions in the SEO world about whether you should ever submit an SEO, a disavow file. I have always believed it's okay to do, and I've done it. I've done multiple over the years. I've recovered sites that had link penalties by submitting disavow files. And I've never had any issues with it. I know that there are differing opinions in the SEO industry. Some people say that never submit a disavow file because you're basically telling Google that, yeah, you've been a naughty boy and blah, blah, blah. You've been naughty and you've been building links and blah, blah, blah. I disagree. I think that by submitting disavow files, you're basically signaling to Google that you're trying to clean up, you're tending to your garden, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, and again, I've recovered penalties from disavowing links. So I've not, although one of our mastermind members, because I know, like I say, Eric Lancheres from OnPage AI, he's hosting a webinar tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's about training. It's for training for how to use OnPage to identify toxic links or links that aren't relevant, and then submitting them as a disavow file to recover penalized sites. I can't make the webinar because I'm already scheduled all day tomorrow, but I did register for it because I'm hoping to see the replay. I'm already a subscriber of OnPage AI, but I respect Eric, and I'm curious as to what his training is going to be about tomorrow. As I mentioned, I just posted about that in the mastermind to let our mastermind members know there's a webinar tomorrow about this. If anybody's interested, go register. It's not an affiliate promo. It's just because I think it's got valuable information. So maybe coincidence that you're posting a question about disavowing, but I have always been of the mindset that it's okay to submit disavow files because I've seen it improve results for sites. So I don't know about the affiliate like you're talking about there. Generally, if I see it's a spammy site, I will disavow the domain, not just the specific URL. In some cases, if it's a decent site, but the referring page, so the URL wasn't really relevant or something like that, then I might just disavow specific URLs. But generally, I disavow entire domains. However, as I started to say in the mastermind group, when I posted this about Eric's webinar tomorrow, talking about recovering a site from a penalty by using the disavow file or Google's disavow tool, one of our members mentioned, be careful though, because you can disavow too many links and then tank your rankings. And that's absolutely a concern you have to be careful about. You don't want to go disavow happy, like go disavow crazy and just all your links that have no traffic and things like that, just disavow all of them, because some of those links are still, all I disavow is the most spammy links that I can find. And that's it. So, but I sorry, I can't give you a better answer as far as, oh, you said disallow. I'm sorry, not disavow, disallow. I've just gave a whole spiel on disavow. You said
He's
disavow.
talking about
robots.txt file. Yeah, I see that now. I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, I would disallow crawling those. Yes. Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I misread it. It was my fault. I would absolutely disavow those, or excuse me, disallow those in the robots.txt file. So forgive me for misinterpreting your question, but yes, I would disallow crawling of those, as well as, you know, WordPress admin pages and all kind of the standard stuff. Just so you guys know, my backlink services, I disallow via robots.txt ahrefs, semrush, Moz, because the only bot that I allow is Majestic, and that's just so I can monitor the trust flow manipulation, not really trust flow, but topical trust flow manipulation. But I've had link building clients reach out and say, none of your links are showing up in my Ahrefs reports. And I said, well, that's because I disallow them robots.txt. Like, why are you using Ahrefs anyways? So it's funny. I say, go check it in Search Console. You'll see your links. Check it in Majestic. You'll see your links. But you won't find them in SEMrush. You won't find them in Ahrefs or Moz. Because not all of them, but we mix it up. But a lot of links are disallowed. We block those bots specifically. So anyway, sorry for confusing your question. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. We've got another mastermind webinar tomorrow. For those of you in there, hope to see you 3:30 p.m. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, by the way, next week, guys, 8-year anniversary, episode 416.
Oh, yeah.
We've got some giveaways and prizes. Be here for it. Come participate, be live. You can only win if you're present. So we'll see you.